Hello and welcome to Demon Reviews episode 206. I did not look up what Pokemon that was today. I'm your host, Springy, and joining us today is our very special guest.
Adriana Harris. I'm the evil mastermind behind Darklands Photography.
Woo! Woo! Okay, so I'm so happy for you to be here today. I know scheduling this was hell on my own part and my own fault, but
It's only been a year.
it's fine. And the last video that came out was over 100 days ago. I could have done something. It's
We
fine.
were busy. We were busy.
It's fine. October was a busy month. So it's all the months. Anywho, my first question of the day is how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Well, I'm very happy to have you. Well, next is have you ever been interviewed like this before?
Yes, I have multiple times. Haunted house, roller derby, you name it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm happy to introduce you to this side of the world of interviewing. SpongeBob
Yay!
animation. Okie dokie. So now, we're just gonna keep on trucking and say, wow, my order of these questions is abysmal. Jesus. Okay. So, from the name of what you are advertising today, which is Darklands Photography. Sorry, people are
Yes,
texting me, even though they know I am doing this
that's
right now.
okay. I'm getting them too.
It's fine. It's fine. People can assume you do photography of many different things, and we might be showing some of that later, and they can go follow you on all the social media platforms, and I'll do my whole spiel about that in a minute. But I wanted to ask, do you have any other new photo shoots you have planned to do that you're willing to tell us about without me giving you $5?
Yes, we are actually I'm going to shoot some of the haunted house characters. I was responsible for the Silent Hill room this year. So next up I will be shooting Silent Hill and then Pyramid Head, which all the nurses keep calling him Big Daddy. Big Daddy Pyramid Head. And so I also own a salon, so my salon is a little wild right now with chain link fences and all the paper and curtains from the haunted house. So next I'll be setting that up. It takes kind of a little bit of time to get it all situated, and hopefully I'll get that shot real soon.
Awesome. Awesome possum. Well, my next question. And since
Okay.
it's about the Tic Tacs. So,
Okay.
since this is a more controversial, newer platform, why did you start using it in the first place?
I don't know. I actually, when I joined, I feel like maybe I joined as Dark Lens. I probably have a personal one somewhere too, but I think I was looking at just other photographers and trying to get inspiration and trying to find, I like really weird artwork. And I think I just started kind of creeping on TikTok at first. And behind the scenes shots and bloopers are like my absolute favorite. If you follow any of the accounts that I market for, you know that I like to share all those. So I always
Mm-hmm.
say, be careful if I'm interviewing you because I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
I mean, I feel like I have some bloops of you even.
yeah,
So,
probably.
yeah, I don't know. It kind of blossomed, and then later, I have an account for haunted house characters, and I don't know, it's super fun,
Mm-hmm.
and it all kind of works together, and networking is really easy, and I like the video editing on it. It's user friendly, it's a fun app.
Awesome possum. Awesome possum. Amazing, spectacular. I only know two words. I mean them every time, but that's all I know.
It's okay. I've talked to you before.
Yeah, that's very true. So, why did you go with the name Dark Lens Photography and not, Batman Fan 26 or something?
I actually started Dark Lens with another person, Bree Ellis. She's a makeup artist. We're both cosmetologists. They're we were kind of feeling like people weren't appropriately representing Halloween.
Hmm.
And so we were like, okay, well, we're just going to do this thing, right? Because we're both kind of Halloween queens in our town. We're known for special effects makeup, and we probably go a little overboard dressing up. She's into cosplay too. And we were going to name it Macabre Moments, but we were kind of thinking that people wouldn't be able to announce the pronounce macabre. They would call it macrame. We just saved ourselves the trouble and just went with Dark Lens.
Perfect. See, look, I found a third word. It wasn't just awesome and amazing for once. So, next up, what was your first photo shoot like?
Oh, well, in 2021, I don't know, we just started kind of, I had a photo shoot in mind. I'm a big fan of In This Moment. They're very theatrical. Maria Brink does a schoolgirl character. Now it's a whole different thing. It's a whole Handmaid's Tale situation, but she did like a big dunce cap, and I wanted to do a photo shoot of a schoolgirl with a dunce cap with her face cut, like a Chelsea smile or
Hmm.
a Glasgow smile. And so I started planning that photo shoot. That was the brainchild for Dark Lens.
Hmm.
And but then um, you guys ended up being my test shoot, you and your mother. And I'm not even sure that I still have those photos. That was just like a test shoot of my camera. I think that you guys were the
Hmm.
first live people I ever shot. And then the first actual dark lens shot ended up being three of Bree's friends. We just randomly did a witch shoot in the woods, and both of us are very proficient with like Photoshop and stuff. So we made them appear to be levitating and whatnot. You know, it was a lot of smoke and mirrors. I mean, it was totally real.
Man.
They're totally witches in the woods.
Ooh.
But it was a lot of fun and it was interesting, and we took into account the colors of the grove that we were in, because if you don't know where we're from the like Pacific Northwest and the big giant redwoods. So
Yeah.
I utilized the woods a lot for my photo shoot. So it was kind of cool. We knew what colors would be out there, so we did some contrasting colors. I did some black and white movie monster, old school monster looking shots. It was very interesting. It was very fun. It was a good test shot. And then the next one ended up being the schoolgirl. So
Hmm.
I call her the school ghoul. So yeah, that's kind of how it got started.
Awesome. Well, now I have to do the stereotypical YouTube thing of don't forget to like, comment,
Yeah.
subscribe, and hit the bell icon. Don't forget to follow our lovely guests on all the social media platforms. There'll be a way to get to most of them in the description below. And if you want to ask our lovely guests any questions, put them in the comment section below. But if they ever come back on the show in the same capacity, and we'll ask them your questions. Yay!
Yay.
Yay! Next up, what is the hardest thing about getting into photography in general?
The gear. The gear, the editing, how to learn, how to adjust, how to get everything set up. I have a very, I mean, dark style, obviously dark lens photography, but I don't like the really bright boho. So my camera settings are all super dark. Occasionally you'll catch me shooting bands or kind of bars for promotional stuff, just on the side. But for the most part, I like that dark, dreary kind of woods haunted looking vibes. So definitely the gear. The gear is incredibly expensive. I'm on my second camera now, and um, it's expensive. There's a huge learning curve. Learning. Luckily, I already knew how to use Photoshop, but Lightroom was a whole venture in its own. It's definitely been a challenge learning how to do what I want to do and staying true to what I want to do. I'm trying to stick with my style.
Yeah, I think the brightest photo shoot you ever did was mine.
Yes,
was
it
it was in the
absolutely was.
armor.
Yes.
I was doing my Jean Arc cosplay and everything, and I believe that's probably definitely the brightest one you've ever done.
Yeah. And I darkened it too.
Yeah, which works. Which works.
Yeah, definitely.
But I turned my phone off because I'm stupid. So let me turn it back on and actually have my camera back where it was. Or not my camera. My camera's up there. What am I saying? Okay. Lose my mind. Anywho. Next question. It's very long, very complicated, very hard. Very hard hitting, very social. It's coming from a past guest, a Mr. Zoom _ 2028. Bacon? Question mark.
Yes, please. Crispy, no wiggle. So I'd like it perfect, please.
Cool. Cool. Well, we're going to skip down a little bit and just ask you a little bit of a more complicated question and just ask from the same person. Peanut butter? Question mark.
Creamy. I like creamy peanut butter.
Perfect. Well, something we do here sometimes is we combine the two. Have you ever tried bacon and peanut butter?
I have not. I have not.
I have. I actually have a video of me eating it, and I had it like it was ants on a log type of thing.
Yeah.
I didn't just dip a piece of bacon in a jar of peanut butter. That's wasteful.
I feel like it would be good.
It was fine. It just tasted more like whatever it was. Either it was like crunchy peanut butter or like creamy bacon, which sounds weird. But I mean, we also have bacon jam, or we did.
It makes sense. Like maple bacon. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's in that same realm.
Yeah, exactly. It's somewhere in that general area.
Yeah.
Okay. So, next question. Also coming from a past guest, a Shannon Carruthers on the Instagrams. You're going to be the star of a movie. Who would you want your co-star to be, and what movie genre would it be, and what would it be about?
Well, I think I like Tom Hardy is like my favorite. And I really like mystery, like Sherlock Holmes type mysteries. I I mean, it's literally everything, right? It's all the mystery, death, I don't know. It's just my thing. There's action. It's exciting. I just like Sherlock Holmes stuff. I like mystery. I think I have a hard time because when I watch movies and shows, I pretty much pick out what's going to happen. So if something stumps me, I'm like, that's what gets me. I'm like, whoa, wait, what? Wait, where are we? So I like really unique storylines because I can pick out killers and stuff right away. I'm like, there it is, I was like, that's obvious. So if something's too obvious, I mean, you've been with me at the movies when I've gotten mad, or I get mad and something's just so obvious, or they don't actually clarify or close any chapters for. I need closure.
Yeah.
So I think I like mysteries because usually they come with some type of closure.
Yeah, because what was it, like the First Omen or something like that? Everybody was like, it has an amazing twist at the end, and then it was like, oh, the church is using science?
No, it was oh my gosh, what was it? It wasn't the First Omen. That was the one that I got mad about.
Yeah.
And it was the nun in the convent.
Yeah, I'm like,
not the nun movie, but
yeah,
gosh,
I think it was like
it was
separate.
Immaculate. It was Immaculate.
Oh God, yeah.
That's what it was. I was so mad. It was like the same plot as the show Preacher.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I probably got the two mixed up because like then like the First Omen came out like soon after that as well, or something along those lines, and they're both like church, child, but yeah,
just
movies.
wasn't it. It
Just,
wasn't it. I need
it,
some type of. And then they like didn't show you at the end
like you
what
didn't
it
get to
was.
see it before.
You're like, so yeah, it was quite frustrating to me.
It, yeah, I was there. It was frustrating for all of us.
Luckily, nobody else was in the theater while I was saying all the bad words.
It's fine. So, next question.
Okay.
This is coming from one of our fans on Instagram. Hopefully, they still are. It'd be sad if they're not. And I've just been using this for years. It's from a Charlie underscore Aronson 99. What is one thing you regret doing on camera?
Oh man, normal pretty photo shoots. That's like not my thing, and it like made everybody think that I do that, or I can do their senior pictures or their babies, their maternity shoots. And
Mm-hmm.
I definitely had a hard time doing my first TikToks when Brie had made me do them. I cannot do the like lip syncing. I can't do that. It's so awkward for me. It was a little easier in the haunted house in my character, but
Yeah.
in my own freaking face, I'm all Bob.
Yeah.
It looks like a bad kung fu movie. I don't know. I had such a hard time doing that. So,
Yeah.
but yeah. So, or first was like TikToks. I thought I was gonna regret it, and then I ended up not. And whatever, I don't even care. But yeah. Giving people the wrong impression of what I do is kind of a big deal to me because then everybody wants to hire me for stuff like that, and I want no part in it.
Yeah. And I can definitely understand that because, like, also seeing, like, words, going back to, like, talking about, like, the brightest shoot I've ever seen you do. I also learned later when the actual season came out, it's all about Alice in Wonderland. So, like, it was supposed to be, like, super bright colors. And I'm like, I still love them. I'm just like, Alice
Yeah,
in Wonderland, really? And I'm like, completely different vibe as what they dropped us into at the end of that one season. It was a whole fucking thing. Anyhow, so would you keep a pet zombie or would you kill it?
Depends on who it is. And are they efficient? Do they work hard? Like, I think I always go to Shaun of the Dead when they're like chained up pushing shopping carts back and stuff. Like that sort of thing. Are they trying to eat my face off every day? Are they smart? Are they fast? It depends on what zombies we're dealing with. So I feel like there's a lot of things that conflict there.
Yeah.
Like if you could give me more details, I could pinpoint it. But you know.
Like the question's very like I say this like all the time. Like they're very much like up for interpretation, and that's why I specifically put like pet as in bold as
Yeah.
well, or not bold.
I
Like I
mean,
capitalized it, so it's like, do you want a human or is it a dog zombie?
yeah. I mean, I think I always go to the zombie in Dawn of the Dead in the parking garage that has no legs. That's all like down the pipes coming fast at you. So yeah, I think I'm haunted by fast zombies, and so therefore it's really hard for me to choose. If they're
Yeah,
just dumb and slow, or I don't know, something I loved at one point, then that's a little easier to decide on.
fair. I get it. So next up, have you ever been afraid or gotten a weird feeling and not in a fun way during one of your shoots?
Absolutely. Actually, so the grove that I've actually shot quite a few things. There's this really gloomy grove up here, and it's kind of hidden. I actually found it because somebody was traveling from out of town and they were talking to me about it, and I'm like, I've never even heard of this. What do you mean a grove you could just like drive right up to, which is pretty key when you have people in costumes.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard. You can't like hike people down very far when they're in like something huge and elaborate. And or you have to like drag it down, and that's no fun either if you're dragging all the gear and the costumes for them. So it's this gloomy grove. I needed an opening shot for my season, and it's this little girl Della. She's actually been in a couple of shots. She was this little doll, and she's also been she's she was in a shot I did that was a Krampus shot where
Mm,
he was like dragging her away and chaining her and stuff, and like I had to take happy shots of her too where she's like with Krampus, so people thought that she wasn't being like abducted. But we were in the woods, and she has this mask on that has like these double vision eyes, and you don't see her face at first because they have her like walking along along a big log. And so she's walking along this log and she turns at you and you're
mm,
like almost like dizzy from these eyes, and she's laughing behind the mask, and it was terrifying. And I did multiple shots of her. I have her as like a ghost child playing with toys, and I have one that was actually in an art show that had a full length mirror, and it was her facing you, but in the mirror it has her like coming from behind at her.
mm,
And I'm super uncomfortable taking mirrors out into the woods, and I can never explain it. It just feels
yeah.
like some sort of portal or something for me. But her mom and I were both like so creeped out. We just felt this need to grab all of our stuff and get out of there. And I mean, we're not very far from the car. So it's not like we're like deep in the woods and stuff. And these trees, as they rub together, they kind of sound like chainsaws out in the woods. So I can never explain it. I'll have to take you out there sometime. It's really creepy, and you'll hear like cars on the highway, but you're tucked off just enough to where it could be
Mm.
scary if you don't know what's out there. But yeah, little kids like out in the woods, and with having mirrors, and somebody had given me a bunch of old toys, so I'm always cautious of what I'm actually taking with me out there. So
Yeah.
yeah, the mirrors were probably not the best choice.
Oh god. And now I'm just like imagining like Susie, who was one of the dolls,
Yes,
just like doing her weird back bend in that same
yes,
area. That would be
yeah,
terrifying.
creepy. Yeah.
Okay, so next up. So we kind of touched on this a little bit here and there, but have you ever been paid for your photos or photo shoots before?
Yes, I have. I prefer, obviously my favorite ones are ones that I have control over the design and whatnot. Once somebody pays me for them, I have less control over the costuming and the design, and
Mm-hmm.
um so those are definitely my favorite, and those actually come out the best. But I have been paid quite a few times for little photo shoots, and that's pretty much like you dress yourself, you plan your location, I'll come out there and shoot in my style. And um, I'm a really fast editor because I can't sit on things
Mm-hmm.
too long. Um, I'll lose my passion for it, so
Mm-hmm.
I have to just kind of pump them out and get them out. But yeah, my favorite shots are non-paid shots, but I am hireable, but people just have to contact me directly, and then I'll decide if it's in my realm of art or not.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. So speaking of contact, is it okay if I ask where can people get your contact to get in contact with you about getting said photo shoots done?
Any of the social medias. I have Dark Lens Photography on, or it's Dark Lens Photography 13 on TikTok. I have Instagram and Facebook. So you just look for the little planchette logo, and that's me.
Woo! Well, next up, we're making pretty good time. So, who is your biggest photography inspiration or inspirations if you have multiple?
So I wouldn't even like say that's where my inspiration comes from. Um I have there is some photographers that I absolutely adore. I actually I started following a photographer from Croatia that's a she does mainly like graffiti and street photography,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just beautiful. Her lines are beautiful. There's actually a local photographer, Bry Anderson, who is like he's amazing. Chris, he's like his photos are great. He's I've unknowingly been photographed in my haunted house character by him when we've gone to like I know he works at the casino here locally too, doing photography, and he's caught shots of us before in our costumes. But he just does beautiful work. But most of my inspiration comes from like totally random stuff. Like
Mm-hmm.
there might be a photo or something or a costume that I like, and it might inspire me, but I mean, I go off the rails with ideas that stem from that. It's just kind of like once I like a creepy vibe or something, I just like freaking explode with ideas. So, and then I generally have to write them all down. And if you've ever done one of my big photo shoots with me, usually I have a whiteboard and tons of pictures of like poses I want my characters in. And I just try to keep all of my thoughts and inspiration and ideas kind of organized. And then I try, I do plan way in advance, but I have like kind of big idea boards that I kind of work on as it goes. But yeah, as far as inspiration goes, I literally draw inspiration from anything. I could be like, your chair is awesome. And I'm going to do this whole shot in those colors, you know? So it's really kind of all over the place, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
I get that. So now we're going to get kind of into the more haunted, like a few questions about the haunted house or haunted
Okay.
manor, which is the same exact thing. But
Yeah, no, it's fine.
first, I want to ask, how long have you been a fan of horror in general?
I don't remember a time where I didn't like it. I remember a time where I wasn't allowed to watch it, but my parents had my bedroom set up where I could see through a crack in the door, and they had a giant TV, and I could see it and watched all the horror movies until I fell asleep, you know,
Mm-hmm.
watching some of the ones that are, you know, based on that. But I don't know. I've just always kind of I like the artwork more in horror. I like the colors and the scene and the anticipation, and I like the vibe that horror sets, you know.
Yeah.
Even though I get mad sometimes and I'm all, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" I'm still really mad about the new Nun movie, like the
Mm-hmm.
Nun 2, where the guy is like tripping out with his back turned towards the doors of the, I don't know, the chapel, and he's like,
Oh
and
God.
the lady's like, "Are you okay? Are you kidding? Get out of there! What are you doing?"
Yeah.
It's just like they're like they just don't value their lives.
Yeah. Something that I really liked, and this is from a different horror movie, Cabin in the Woods, is that they kind of explain away some of those things.
Yeah,
It's like, I'm 95% sure you've seen it, where
yeah.
like, and they just explain away like some of like the
Over explain
stupid,
it.
yeah, it's just like
Yeah.
they pumped
I am a
drugs and stuff.
sucker though. I'm a sucker for a perfect scene and a perfect song for that scene.
Mm-hmm.
I that is that's my huge thing. I love like one of my very favorite things is the opening scene of Zombieland where they're all kind of running in a slow mo to like who for whom the bell tolls.
Yeah,
You know, like I'm a sucker for a scene like that where you're like, wow, this is like perfect.
yeah, exactly. So, next up, before we technically into the next one, what is the
Okay.
haunted house you've been working at so far? What is their name?
Um, I, I've been working at David's Haunted Manor for that's in Crescent City, California, for the last about 3 seasons, and yeah,
Awesome,
David's
awesome.
Haunted Manor.
Woo! That's why I was like, haunted house. Uh,
Yes.
haunted house. So, oh, you already answered the next thing because it'd be like, how long have you been a
Sorry.
part of this? So
I
there
did.
we go. Carrying on. Just I replaced the question with a different question. It works. So, what is your current role in this haunted attraction?
I am the assistant general manager, but I I have so many hats. I'm like build crew. I do some set design, I do makeup, I do marketing, I do costume design. I kind of am a jack of all trades. I
Hmm.
do a little bit of everything. I don't know, I just went for it.
Yeah.
But my photography mainly kicks into the marketing side of things, marketing and makeup and costuming.
Hmm. Makes sense. You're donating your time
Yeah,
to the cause. I'm like, that's not the
the
right
cause,
to the cause, and just
the
helping out
organization.
to the organized Skynet. Donated my time to Skynet. That's what I felt like. So from the past few years, what is one of your favorite rooms in this haunted attraction?
I have favorite rooms every year. Like my first year, I didn't hold any grand title. I just kind of randomly came into the haunted house. I had done a clown photo shoot, and so that's how I ended up like being there. Like shortly after I started like following and then leading like right away. So my first year, I really liked the electric chair. The
Hmm.
kid that was in it, actually, now I call him my best friend all the time now. But he had this great like whimper in the electric chair. He's like, "Oh, please help me." It's like it was so believable. And then he would kind of fry in the electric chair and totally go limp. It was great. And then there was another room. It it was like a party room with all the stuffy characters. So all the it had like a like kind of like a pizza party kind of thing, but it had a party girl that was like crying tears. And she'd be all, "You ruined my party," and it had Peter Rottentail, and it had the gorilla and Gingy. It had all these big characters in it, but they held so still you didn't know if they were real or not. It had lots of flashes, so that was probably my first favorites. The second one, I actually got to design my own rooms, and two of them were freaking awesome. Like one was a random hallway with a bunch of crosses that are still in your backyard. I'm sorry. And it was like the nun hallway. And I had like Valak in there, and I had other nuns. I had like a man with a full beard that was a nun. We called him Mr. Sister the whole time. But that room was like, it was unsettling. And the woman who played Valak, she had a remote, so as she walked, she could turn the candles on the floor. It was really unsettling. And then I also I did a transitional space in the bar. This is when we were at the old
Hmm.
Elk Valley Casino. And I transformed the bar into like a vampire bar. It was supposed to just be a transitional space. I kind of pulled some inspiration from Queen of the Damned.
Hmm.
So I just made it all red, and I kind of played some of that creepy, sexy music. And it wasn't supposed to be like characters in it. It was just supposed to be a pretty, like, whoa, look how pretty this is. And a couple of nights there were actors. And then I didn't intend on building this year, but I did build some spaces this year. And my favorite this year was definitely it was my own. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, everybody. Silent Hill.
Hmm.
I had the four nurses, and then later I ended up having Pyramid Head, but it was a very unsettling room. Lots of strobes. I don't know how they stayed in there every night, and sometimes I went in there and shot them, and I'm like, how do you guys do this? Like heavy strobes from each way, and all the metal and clanking, and then we had a doll that would start the Silent Hill siren before you came in, and we were trying to keep it down, and but they were coming after you no matter what.
Yeah.
So sorry, long story short, I have a million favorite rooms all the time.
I mean, I 100% understand that. Like, it would be very hard for me to narrow down my favorite room for like
Yeah.
the past few times I was going through and everything. Okay, so next up. Oh, there we go. Wow, I was reading that so slowly, I just didn't even understand my own sentence. And this kind of goes into a question from earlier, but have you ever turned away anyone for a photo shoot?
Yes. I actually just turned away somebody that was getting married on Halloween. It was actually one of the models for my very first photo shoot, the witches. She was getting married on Halloween, but as you know, I do makeup for the haunted house, so I'm an actor for the haunted house. I do makeup. I can't. I run a whole makeup team. I
Hmm.
couldn't do it. So I've turned that down. Portraits, babies. Like I have to like really love you to do your portraits. So
Yeah.
like your regular portraits, your senior pictures or whatever, like you have to be like friend of the family type situation
Hmm.
and or just really like my style. I did a couple of two actually of the haunt kids. I did their senior pictures this last year, but they know what they're in for with me. So that's a little bit different.
Yeah. Makes sense. Okay. So we kind of already touched on this a little bit, but I wanted to ask for the haunted house, or just in general, do you have your own character that you keep doing?
Yes. I am a clown. I tried to move away from it one time, and about halfway through, I had put it on just to market in a room that was based in clowns. And whoa, the morale of the actors in that room went crazy. It ended up being like the funnest room ever. So I don't know why or how it fired everybody up, but it did. And so then I stuck with my clown, and that night some of the kids named my clown.
What is the name of your clown?
My clown is Tricky, and I'm the part of a two clowns now. It's become this whole thing. So they call us the Ickies. So it's Sticky and Tricky Icky. And yeah, we have our own. There's a whole TikTok page for the Ickies now too. You can find it at DHM the Ickies. It's
Her.
ridiculous. It's just total clown shenanigans.
Yeah. Just clowning around.
Just clowning around. It's so
Just,
ridiculous.
just
But
clowning
my
around.
clown my clown doesn't stay the same every time I change like every single clown. I would probably get way too bored sticking with the same clown every single time. But the only thing that stays true is I wear cat ears. That's pretty much it.
It
I have
works.
one makeup eye that I keep and cat ears.
Perfect. Well, next up, number 22 doesn't work. Number 23 we already did on 24. So, how are you and your clown alike, and how are you different?
I've just kind of infused my clown with my personality. My clown's silly and weird and unafraid, and my clown likes toes. I don't expose toes. I always say that there's a place to snack on them somewhere in the haunted house. Um, I don't know. I'm like everybody thinks I'm doing like a clown voice, but really the smoke in the haunted house makes my voice kind of raspy
Mm-hmm.
as I'm like working it. So they think I'm doing this like kind of deeper, like raspy voice, but really I'm just jacked up from my allergies and I don't know, I just kind of we have clowns that like really act and they have like funny voices and stuff and they're awesome, but a lot of the times I also still have to manage. So I have to like if there's ticketing problems or sound problems or most people know that the very front room in the haunted house that runs the rules and the videos, that's mine. So sometimes the video goes down. Sometimes things fail and I get to go put out fires, not literal fires, but so it's kind of hard for me to act like the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty much like sometimes I'll mess with you. Most of the time, I'm just quiet because the Sticky, the other one I work with, he is loud and he has a funny voice and he is all up in your face. And so a lot of times I just observe people being crazy. I'm also doing marketing sometimes. So there's like, I don't act a ton. I do. This year they gave me a megaphone, so they totally messed up, and now it's my favorite thing in the world. So I like to talk to people right in their face with it, and now I shall have my own megaphone. It's a must. And then I think the only other character I've ever played besides I did a freight attendant costume the year that I ended up putting Tricky back on. And that was just, we always talked about it might have been like too smart. And then I've actually been a character in my own photo shoots that we call the priestess.
Hmm.
And it was like a random day where the model bailed. And so I did it, and the other girl shot my photos. And now we've done two of them. And she's like, I mean, you could tell it was me. I used to have a really long red hair. So my hair was like all over the place and crazy. And you can tell it's me, but I did a blood baptism last time. So I I'm usually covering people in blood or cutting people's heads off or I have minions, and so it's very regal. So I don't know, my characters are all kind of stoic. They're kind of, I guess, like me in person, I just kind of infuse myself to them. So
Hmm.
it's harder for me to break character. Sticky can get me to break character because he'll tell me like these like funny like dad jokes where he like hits on me and I'm laughing so hard. Sometimes I have to walk away. But that's the easy part about being a clown is you just laugh and it goes with your persona.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
If Death started laughing at you, you know something's wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, that definitely could have stopped your momentum, huh?
Ah. But next up is going to be: did you ever purposely make any shots just for the tickety tackities or any other social media? Or did you already have the ideas in mind?
Yeah, most of the haunted house content is shot for like I don't print a ton of it. Like obviously I do the posters and that was very challenging shooting ourselves on the posters, but that was timers and remote access, but
Mm-hmm.
pretty much the only things that get printed haunt wise are if somebody personally wants it. But yeah, the most of the stuff is just created just for content.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I had more time to actually publish and kind of grow the two separately, the photography side of it and because there are people that ask us for photos of our haunted house characters too. And if I had time to shoot them all, that would be fantastic. But right now I'll shoot like, I shoot exterior characters. I call them exterior characters. So they're characters that go out in the line and they're in the public in the line of fire. They're leaders and followers. Like right now we have like six specific. That's me and Sticky. So Tricky and Sticky, Stitches and Swerve are another clown group. And then we had Nyx and the Barker. And then you'll also catch Torment and Hush filling in here and there also. So those are the main characters that go out into the world before the hunt opens. I'm very protective over the inside characters. Actually, have everybody sign an NDA when they sign their contracts, stating that they won't release any photos of themselves inside the haunt until we give the go ahead, which is a little bit later in the season. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah, I do shoot it all because I want some of it shared. Some of the reoccurring rooms you won't see me share content for it, but yeah, most of the stuff I shoot for the haunted house is for content, and some for Darklands. A lot of times my Darklands page just sits kind of untouched. I try to share like here and there everything I've been getting into, but
Mm-hmm.
now we've been going to big haunts, so I'm less. This year I'm going to be a little bit more organized at like shooting way ahead. The problem is I shoot and I'm like, it's kind of like buying somebody a present, right? I'm like, oh, I'm gonna hold on to this until Christmas. Wait, I want you to see this,
Yeah.
So the second I shoot things, a lot of times I promote it right then, and I'm like, dang it.
Yeah.
So
that's something that we also had issues for Demon Interviews where we were doing 2 videos a week, and I was like, that's not sustainable. So
Yeah,
now,
definitely. You have to find your balance, and then sometimes I'll pump things out, and then I'm like, oh, wow, I don't have anything for this week, you know?
yeah. Like I said at the top of the episode, we've gone about 3 months without anything being posted. So
Yep.
yeah, but just gonna carry on slightly, and just by saying, what do you think is the biggest misconceptions about either you and or your photography, photos, even your characters in general?
That I'm evil. That I'm all whatever. I'm evil. It's all easy to me. It's like, okay, well, first of all, photography is not easy. I don't think I'm evil, but maybe I am. Who knows? But yeah, we live in a very small conservative community, and I have friends and clients in town that won't even look at my photos. So I'm like, you do one exorcist photo shoot with vomit and crucifixes, and then you're this bad guy.
Yeah, you know, but yeah, evil, worshiping the devil, all that fun stuff. So, another the last food-based question, also the last. Actually, no, it's not the last one for that, but it's the last food-based question coming from a past guest. This is a Winter Phoenix or Winter underscore Phoenix. How do you like your eggs?
Okay, well, this is poorly timed because I like them deviled.
That
Deviled
is
eggs are my jam. But that is, yes, very poor timing.
fine.
Right when I tried to tell everybody I'm not that evil.
And then the next one is about cake, and then it's like devil's food cake is my favorite.
Yeah, and then I also like
Death by
devil's
chocolate.
food cake.
Oh God, death by chocolate. That would be mine, and that's just like I would eat
Yeah.
that. But to go to more of a positive place after devil worship, what's the best compliment you've ever gotten?
Um, I I've been published in a magazine like within like my first year. I won an art show, and I actually think the thing that made me probably the most excited was I used these smoke bombs called shutter bombs,
Mm-hmm.
and they're just a really quality smoke bomb for photo shoots. And I had done a Harley Quinn shoot, and I really wanted her to get on top of a car with like smoke bombs and weapons. And I got a series of shots that ended up being like reshared on all the shutter bombs like socials, and they have like beautiful photography on there. So I was like, Mm, yeah, it made me. I felt very proud of that. I mean, also being published in a magazine is kind of a big deal, and I'm like, yeah, but on Instagram. So yeah, that was kind of a cool thing for me. The art show was a cool thing too because it was a not a reader's choice, a like local people went in and voted for it.
Oh.
So it actually made me feel really good because like a lot of the art galleries here are like real conservative. We live in a coastal town, so it's all like elk and lighthouses and sea lions and stuff. So the fact that I had 3 photos, when I told you about the little doll girl
Mm-hmm.
and her evil like coming through the mirror, that was in it. I had another one of a man who was actually a college professor here in town, and he had a bunch of arms holding different books and different things. And that one actually won first place. And then I had another headless horseman one where I used an actual horse, and yeah, all of them had ribboned, and that was pretty wild to get like paid for. I didn't know who would win a cash prize, so that was kind of wild too. So, but yeah, it was really cool to have people in my community voting for me. And then actually, another lady I know in town that's an artist, she teaches art classes at Sunset High School, and she had brought her students to the art gallery, and some of them wrote me notes about my art. It was really neat.
That's awesome. For once, children aren't the devil.
Yeah.
So,
Why you keep bringing it back to this?
look, I don't know. Also, I don't think it helps when the channel you're being interviewed on is also demon interviews.
Demon.
Like, you know,
About. I mean, just start calling me Black Phillip.
it's
You know,
fine.
would you like to live deliciously?
It's fine. But my next question, which kind of was somewhat connected. I don't know. Does the content you make that you liked the best get the most attention, or is it the ones that surprise you?
I think they all kind of surprise me. It okay, I didn't expect the Ickies to get that much attention. That was pretty wild. I didn't like one of our first videos. I was super surprised. I just threw some old pictures of us together, and I mean, we do some stupid stuff that I kind of wonder at times if it's appropriate or not. And I'm like, no, that's I mean, whatever. I mean, some of the comments are pretty wild on it, but I don't know. The ickies are always really surprising to me because I'll just post them and I don't care and I just leave them and whatever, move along. But yeah, it surprises me every freaking day. And then sometimes when I think things are I was like, oh, this is a good one. Watch, this one's put together, and then that one I'm all,
Mm.
oh, wow,
Yeah.
shoot.
Yeah. That's pretty much on average, to be fair. Uh, so next is, who is your favorite character to photograph?
I love shooting clowns. Okay, like that was probably one of my favorite things that was one of my favorite things. I didn't know it would be like so bright and interesting, and it still really stands out in all of my dark settings. And um I don't know that I anticipated clowns being that fun. Like, and the clowns are honestly what opened the door to everything for me. Like the entire haunted house. And had I not done that clown photo shoot, I wouldn't have found half of these people. So it's that's yeah, it's been kind of wild for me. But yeah, they're just fun and crazy, and they're down to do whatever. And yeah, clowns are probably the funnest for me.
Awesome. And you can do anything with a clown, and it'll be creepy,
Yeah,
or it'll follow the aesthetic of a clown, no matter what.
yeah.
So next, who from TikTok or other social medias would you like to do a collaboration with in real life?
I just the pretty much the only people I like follow hardcore are other haunters are pretty much clowns, clowns from other haunts. I love. There's a couple of haunt girls that I just love. They're one goes by Zombie, and she's a makeup artist and a haunter in New Hampshire, maybe. And then I everybody that knows me knows that I keep saying I'm going to move to Ohio because I want to go work at the blood prison in Ohio. It's actually in a state penitentiary, an old like cool building, but there's a character there named the Widow, she's the warden's widow, and she's 6'7". So I always say when I grow up I want to be 6'7", just like the widow. But I those are like I know Zombie, she does a clown sometimes, but probably my other favorite haunter is Willie Vodka. He's hilarious. He's in Creepy Hollow in Houston. So I don't know that I necessarily want to collab with any as much as see them. I got to see a couple of my favorite haunters this year at Knott's. There's Lala Loopsy at Knott's Scary Farm. She's a clown, and then Death from Knott's is pretty cool. It has a big angel of death that goes with him, and he's a like very large slider man. I actually thought he retired, So I was really surprised when I saw him when we got there. So that was really cool. Um, so I don't know. Those are just people that are kind of inspirational to me. I think they're cool and their characters are something else. And um, I think that would be fun someday, you know.
Mm-hmm. Awesome, amazing, spectacular. Another word that would normally be associated with Spider-Man. Uh, favorite photo shoot memory of yours?
Well, the same as how I picked haunted house rooms. My favorite photo shoots are probably The Exorcist was fun. It was just
Mm-hmm.
hilarious. It was a couple of our friends. Our friend Maria was the possessed, and she was hilarious. And she's like outside smoking a cigarette in her rain boots and her in like 90, like dancing with it. It was pretty fun. And the priest, there was times where she like made him uncomfortable. I'm all, yeah, now hit on him, and it got real weird because she's talking in that voice, and she's pulling so hard that she pulled her restraints like too tight. A couple of times we had to like cut them off of her. That was pretty hilarious. The clowns was an awesome day. That was like a my clown photo shoot probably was like a full work day because it took 5 hours of makeup, and then we went and Photoshop for about 3 hours, and then I took them. We all went to dinner at a local restaurant here. That was pretty wild. But there was there was a couple other memorable ones. Was the blood baptism that I told you about, the priestess shot, where we like actually one of the kids that was in it that we baptized. Um, it was in the haunted house. He was one of the swamp dog
Ah,
guys, the real tall one, Thalen. And I mean, they were just covered in blood. And I am in the water probably up to my ankles going, over. It's cold, and these kids are in October, totally drenched in the river. It was wild blood everywhere in the river. It was wild, the fake blood.
yeah.
But we had probably the big day besides the clowns. We actually did at the same property as the clowns were. Um, the day that I did the Manson family and the Deliverance shoot
Mm-hmm.
was just an all around epic day. It was like one of my Manson girls was pregnant, and she's like, which hilarious. She's the mom of the doll I was telling you about before. Her little girl's name is Charlie. We're all, oh my gosh, we're like, did you do that on purpose? And but we had my friend's VW bus pulled up right at the moment that we were shooting that. So we just put it right into it. And I knew he had that bus, and I've been saving him because at some point I want to do Leatherface, but I want it to be like planned and right because you can't do Leatherface dirty like that, right?
Yeah,
So I was
exactly.
thinking that would be a good one for Chop Top to like smear blood all over and stuff. But and then the Deliverance painting the pig man was Casey always, my husband is always like, um, he's like, you're just not afraid of anything. He's like, there's this giant man in tidy whities and you're slapping him around with blood and spraying him and he's like, you're looking up at him like you're like a little kid slapping him around. So those were pretty gosh, I wouldn't say favorite. They're just super memorable to me. You
Mm-hmm.
know, they're like, I remember every single one of them. You know, I remember being there. I remember what we were feeling, what I wanted to shoot. You know, half the time I'm super dirty because I'm rolling around in the dirt on the ground trying to get a good shot. You know, they're just, they're fun and they're funny, and we just have a good time with them. So I understand people wanting to shoot with me all the time, but they're like, try to put the idea in my head, like, you know what I think you would like to do?
Yeah.
Shoot me in this costume.
Yeah. Well, my last question on my list is coming from a past guest, a Dark Mina the Gone. Who, which stereotypical character would you be in a horror movie? Would you be the killer, the final survivor, the first to be killed, so on and so forth?
So this is a debate that keeps happening in my house now. Okay, because like I am always like, I want to be the unsuspecting killer kind of person,
Hmm.
right? So I'm going to date myself here. I was a teenager in the 90s, so I went and saw the very first Scream movie at the movie theater, right?
Hmm.
And I gotta say, and I mean, spoiler alerts, turn this off if you haven't seen it. But the new one, the being the serial killer's child that turns on the people that are, because I hate copycats, by the way.
Yeah.
Like turning on the copycat killers as the serial killer's
Yeah.
child that nobody knows about. That was pretty badass. That's
Yeah.
like a whole different level of final girl right there. So I'm like, I don't know if she's supposed to be the final girl or her sister is,
Yeah.
but it's, I mean, Sydney Prescott, but yeah, so I don't know, but we'll see. But that seems to be my favorite new genre of person in a horror movie.
Awesome. Well, that's pretty much it for my questions. Now I just wanted to ask. There's like a few, but there's just like wrap up ones. Was just
Yeah,
like
ask away.
4 questions. One, do you have any questions for me as an individual about the show in general?
I don't know. I've been excited going through these all, like looking through them. You have a lot of episodes. I'm never
Yeah.
gonna catch up. I'll do my best.
What one of these days, you're just gonna come up to me and be like, "This episode was so weird." Like, which one was that? Oh, it's episode
Like
4. Okay.
168.
Yeah.
I have questions about episode 160 something.
I'll look it up. I'll see which one that was. But yeah, so that was fun. But so then there's also, would you ever like to come back to the show, either in the same capacity or in a different capacity in the future?
Yeah,
Good, because we
that'd
have
be cool.
12 more, and we have 18 different looks for them. Go. Uh, so next is the last one for today. Who would you like to see on the show in the future?
I don't know. I don't know.
Perfect.
Maybe some more of our haunted house characters.
Yes.
That would be rad.
Yes, I would
Maybe
love that.
people actually in their character.
Maybe. Maybe. Well, with that, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to follow our lovely guests on all the social media platforms. There'll be a way to get to all of them in the description below. And as someone is trying to text me right now, as I'm still doing this. But with that, thank you all for watching. Thank you, Adri, for being here. I do highly appreciate it. Sorry
Thanks
it
for
took
having me.
a year.
It's okay. We were doing things.
We were doing small things. But with that, thank you all for watching. And at least I see you in the next video. Bye!